Hi, I'm Daniel Andrews, owner and creator of AndrewsFootball.com. Now, one of the greatest people on planet Earth requested a video be made of what is wrong with the Atlanta Falcons. This is a team that's currently 1-3 after dropping their last two games, and this is a team that a lot of people thought was going to be a playoff contender. So, what's wrong with the Atlanta Falcons? Well, if you take a look here, the first thing that you're going to see if you bring up the NFC standings is that they've scored only 70 points so far. It's the second fewest points in the NFC. Only the Washington Redskins are worse. And you got a Hall of Fame quarterback in Matt Ryan and maybe the best wide receiver in Julio Jones. So what's wrong with the Atlanta Falcons? Well, I think it's pretty obvious. The problem is that their offensive line is not protecting Matt Ryan. All right. Now, if you watch my video breaking down the Atlanta Falcons in July, I was very adamant. I didn't like that they not only addressed only their offensive line in the draft. Remember, they traded back in the first round to get Caleb McCary. They traded their second and their third pick. Their top two free agents were offensive linemen James Carpenter and Jamon Brown. They totally ignored the fact that they had the 25th ranked scoring defense from last year. So when the plan was for the 2019 Atlanta Falcons was to go all in on two rookie linemen and then completely ignore your defense. Matter of fact, they fired the defensive coordinator. They asked head coach Dan Quinn to play double duty, but then they don't give him any free agent help. I thought that this was a huge mistake. And then Lindstrom, he's out till week 10. He got injured against Philly. And then Caleb McCurry, he actually had a heart procedure. The guy had heart surgery July 31st. And I did play it week 1, but apparently he didn't play the whole game. He's still recovering from that. I'm under the impression he's fine now. But bottom line, these two rookie offensive linemen that you went all in on, both these guys were way overdrafted. I did a little bit of research here, and Lindstrom per the NFL Network was the 46th ranked player. You drafted him at 14. And then the Draft Network, that's a site that I like to use, they had him graded as an early second round pick. All right, now McCary was rated pretty high by the NFL Network. He was the 41st ranked player. Of course, the Falcons took him in the first round, took him at 30. And then the Draft Network does not like him at all. They have him ranked anywhere from third to sixth round. They don't even have him close to being ranked in the first round. And bottom line, you could have drafted, let me see here, you got Greg Little, Cody Ford, Dalton Risner, and Jawan Taylor. All these guys you could have drafted instead of McGarry, who and all these players had higher grades than McGarry did coming out. So it was a twofold thing. One, you didn't have to trade back in the first round, and then you trade back in the first round and you get a guy that, I mean, the NFL Network is the highest rating I saw, and that was 41st. So here's the thing. If things don't turn around, Dan Quinn could be fired, but you need to take a look at Thomas Dimitroff. Now, I want to be clear. I think Thomas Dimitroff is one of the best GMs in the National Football League. Look at the job he did. If you go back to 2007, probably the worst year in the history of the Atlanta Falcons. Of course, it's the whole Mike Vick thing. You bring in Bobby Petrino, he quits. And in 2008, you bring in Thomas Dimitroff, he brings in Mike Smith. You roll the dice with the third pick in the draft, the 2008 draft, and you draft a kid by the name of Matt Ryan. I remember this because Carl Peterson, the Chiefs GM, and we picked fifth at the time, we really liked Matt Ryan. If he was available, we were going to draft him, but not everybody thought that he was a really good pick. You start him as a rookie, and you go 11-5, and you make the playoffs. That's a great thing. And then you go 9-7 the following year. Next year after that, you go 13-3. You have the 1 seed. Now you lose the home playoff game to Green Bay. You lose big, but Green Bay goes on to win the Super Bowl. Next year, you go 10-6. You lose the wild card game. 13-3 again. You're the number 1 seed. You win a playoff game, but you lose at home to the 49ers in the NFC Conference title game. Then you go from 13-3, number 1 seed in the NFC, the 4 wins the following year. Then you go 6-10. Mike Smith loses his job. You bring in Dan Quinn, starts off 8-8. Second year, 11-5, goes to the Super Bowl. Next year after that, 10-6, wins a wild card game, loses the eventual Super Bowl winner Philly in a really good game. Then last year you go 7-9. But 13 wins to 4, that's it's really rare to have a 9-game difference in the NFL. That doesn't happen very often. But if things don't turn around this year, I think that, Dan Quinn, there's a good chance that he gets fired, but you want to take a look at firing Thomas Dimitroff also. I'm gonna be clear. The problems on the 2019 Atlanta Falcons, you can blame Quinn, but I think it's more Dimitroff. I mean, you completely ignore the 25th ranked defense. Then you ask your head coach to play double duty as defensive coordinator. You don't give him any help. That's a bad move in itself. Then you go ahead and you go all in on 2 offensive linemen, both of which were overdrafted. One's not going to play till week 10. The other one, maybe he's playing well, but I think he was overdrafted. I think you had better success taking another player. You didn't need to go back in the first round to get this guy. You really didn't. So I think that the person that really needs to blame for the 2019 Atlanta Falcons is Thomas Dimitroff, because you didn't fix the defense. Then the players that you got to fix the offensive line, it's not helping. Matt Ryan, case in point, got sacked 5 times last week. That's too often. All right. So can the Atlanta Falcons turn this around? Well, I hate to say this, but I don't think so. Look at your next 2 games, okay? You're going at Houston with offensive line problems. They got a guy by the name of J.J. Watt, and so, good luck. Now, at Arizona, you're probably going to win that game. That takes you to 2-4. Then you get 2 home games against the Los Angeles Rams. They got a guy by the name of Aaron Donald, by the way. And then you got the Seattle Seahawks before you get your bye. Now, let's say you get Lindstrom back after the bye, and let's say McCary kind of light comes on or what have you, and both these guys play lights out after the bye, because you have your 6 divisional opponents all after the bye. Kind of weird that Atlanta plays all their division opponents after the bye, but lucky for you guys it works out that way, because it gives you an advantage, especially after starting 1-3. But out of these divisional opponents, all these guys got good defenses, so I don't see a way that Atlanta gets over 500. I really don't. Now, because you're not going to fix the defense and the offensive line this year. You're just not. I don't see a way that happens. I really don't. Now, if you can somehow get to the bye at 4-4, maybe 3-5, I think you have a fighting chance, but I don't think that's going to happen. So realistically speaking, I think you got to look at 2020, and then the big question is, do you have a new head coach, or do you have a new head coach and general manager? I think 1 or 2 of these guys are going to go after this year. So, listen, hey, thank you for the great question. This video is probably not what you wanted to hear. It's probably not the answer that you're looking for, but it's an honest Andrews football breakdown. Saturday is the prediction show. So listen, if you're a subscriber to Andrews Football, you already know you're one of the greatest people on planet Earth. All your wildest dreams are going to come true. But if you're new to my channel, you like this video, there's this button right here. Check it out. Check it out. Bam! Hit that button. Become one of the greatest people on planet Earth. I'll see you Saturday with the prediction show.